Hi, I'm Jamie with The Saving Secret, where I help you become more intentional with your life. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. Today, I want to talk about understanding FIRE. What is the FIRE movement? Well, it doesn't take long if you do any kind of search on the internet to find tons of articles about the FIRE movement. You might come across things from Mr. Money Mustache or Mad Scientist or lots of different articles that will talk about the FIRE movement, but I really wanted to talk a little bit about what it is and why you should consider thinking about working towards that. So there's a lot of great articles about it, but the first thing to understand about the FIRE movement is really it starts with priorities. It's not even about money. It's about priorities. What's important to you and what's important to you in your life. So many articles will go into the math side of things, and I'll get to the math side of things. But really, what's important to you? How you spend your time matters. If you ever sit down with someone who's like a grandparent or someone who's much older and they reflect on their life, what they'll tell you is how you spend your time matters. And where do you want to spend your time? But of course, that's a very personal question that you need to figure out. If you didn't have any financial obligations, what would you do? How would you spend your time? That's basically the premise of the FIRE movement. If you didn't have any financial obligations, how would you spend your life? Would you spend more time with your children? Would you travel to unique areas? How would you focus on the things that matter? Well, think about that. What's really important to you in your life? As you talk about that with your spouse or your children, then you need to figure out, hey, well, I do live in this world. I do have financial responsibilities. How can I take care of my financial responsibilities? Well, that's where the FIRE movement comes in with their math equation. So you understand that time is more valuable than money. When you understand that time is more valuable than money, in order to attain more time, you need to be able to take care of your financial responsibilities. So, how do you do that? Well, in the FIRE movement, they use a simple calculation that says your yearly expenses multiplied by 25. So, for example, if your yearly expenses were $40,000, you would need to have $1 million in investment accounts or in a growth area where you could live forever and you wouldn't really deplete your stash of money. You would be able to take care of your financial obligations. Well, you might be looking at this and say, $40,000, that's not a lot of money. My yearly expenses are much higher than that. But when you look at figuring out what you actually need, and again, getting back to the value system of what's actually important to you, you may find ways to lower your expenses. And if you're able to lower your expenses, then you don't need as much available funds to support your lifestyle and the things that truly matter to you. So, how do you acquire this $1 million? So you have this special number. So first you started with a principle based, is you need to understand what's important to you in your life. You figure that out, and now you say, hey, I value time, I want that. Now you have this number that you have. You want to figure out, how do I acquire this number of $1 million if it was $40,000 of expenses? That's where you be intentional and have a game plan. Having a game plan doesn't just mean doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's about taking an inventory of your life. It's getting near the end of 2019. Look at yourself and your finances and say, How have you done? What did you make? What have you spent? And what have you invested? If you break out your money into really those three categories, you can say, hey, maybe I made $75,000, but I spent $70,000 and I only invested $5,000. Well, it's going to take you a long time to get that $40,000, to get to that $1 million if you need $40,000 worth of expenses. How can you invest more? Well, the only way to invest more is you need to take an inventory of where you've been. Figure out things that really matter and put towards those things that matter. But it starts with eliminating debt. Eliminate debt from your life. You're able to free up more cash flow to help support you as you build up more money in to your financial goal. Everybody's on a different plane, and how you acquire fire there's a lot of different ways. But really it starts with understanding what's important to you. If you really find out what's important to you, make a plan to work towards that number. That number is really 25 times your expenses. Work towards that. Financial independence, retire early, does not mean that you'll never work again. It could mean that, but it also means that you value things more than where you're at today. I would encourage you to take that inventory this year, to take numbers of where you've been. Don't be hard on yourself, but think about ways, how can you be better? How can you eliminate that debt that you have? Maybe reduce a car payment or eliminate it altogether. One of the goals that I'm working towards is paying off my home. As I pay off my home, I'll have so much more money to put towards my financial number that I will be able to retire early. So again, if you thought this information was helpful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have other questions or thoughts about the FIRE movement, please feel free to put them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.